What's up, friends? Hope you guys are having a great day. I wanted to jump on and talk to you guys about something that's been a really big deal in my life, and that is the ability to pivot. What I mean by that is you might be on a career path and something that you really enjoy, but you might need to make an adjustment to how that's happening depending on where you are in life, whether that's when you get married, whether that's when you have kids. There's just certain times in your life that you need to pivot what you're doing. For instance, for me, one of my big goals was to travel and play music. Now I was doing photography and graphic design around the same time. Photography started paying the bills quicker, so I went heavy into photography during the days. During the nights and weekends, I was out playing shows or leading worship. So these are all the things that were going on in my life, and I've pretty much have always been just doing a balancing act, and I feel like I've gotten better at it over the years. But all that to say, there was a season in my life that all I wanted to do was tour, and I was headed pretty strong in that direction of being on the road more and more until I realized that ultimately for me, my biggest goal was to have a family and do family well. And not to say that you can't be a touring musician and do family well, but the path that I was on, I don't know that it would have worked out. And so I kind of made a pivot, and my wife and I started leading worship together. I love to do worship, and we realized that if we could build it together, then we could be together. So the first 4 years of our marriage, my wife Jessica and I never spent a night apart, and we traveled all the time, but we got to do it all together. So I pivoted that direction in that season of my life. When we had kids, one of the big things, I had to start pulling back from a lot of the photography that we did, because a lot of the photography that we did required us to travel around the country, which was super fun. Jess and I love to travel, so that was a wonderful part of the early years of our marriage. We still travel for photography a bit. We did it all the way through having our first baby, our first kiddo. By the time we were having our second kiddo, we started to realize it's going to get really difficult for the type of events and things that we would do photography for. They just required excessively long hours, and it was really difficult to manage with two kids. So we started making the decision to pull back. Okay, so remember, we're talking about pivoting. So now we're pivoting off the road from photography as much. And then also my music stuff, I had already kind of pulled away from the idea of touring without my family. Jess and I did music together as well. So for context, what that would look like is a lot of times we would go to a photo shoot. Let's say we're in New York. We'd go to a photo shoot in New York City. We'd stay and lead worship in Long Island or Brooklyn or wherever. So we got to do both of them together. And it was a wonderful season of life, something that I think we'll be back to at some point. But we ended up building a recording studio on our farm, and I shifted away from the idea of touring, playing music, still getting to play music, still getting to help other people pursue their dreams, but I shifted into producing records here at our farm. Well, why is that such a big deal? What that allowed me to do is still be creative every day, still work on music all the time, help other people pursue their dreams, and be home with my family. Still love to travel, still plan to travel a lot, but we're in the years where we have young kiddos, and we have 3 of them now, and it's a lot sometimes. So to have to travel all the time to provide it's a lot in this season. So same thing with photography. So I ended up starting a handful of local businesses here in our community, which allowed me to be home. And then now pivoting into one of the things I've just shared about really recently on social media is I have realized that I absolutely love the process of helping to build brands, sometimes more than I actually love running companies, but I love getting to help other people see their dreams come to life. So whether it's producing music or helping people brand their businesses. Well, what's the beauty in my life of the brand work is I can do it from anywhere. I can work for people who are in California. I can work for people who are in Florida. I can work for people who are in New York, all from here in Tennessee. So whether it's here in my office, whether I need to travel and I need to do some design work and consulting on the road, it gives me flexibility. So will I go back to doing photography more and more, or will I get back to playing music on the road more? Absolutely. But in this season of my life, I absolutely love helping people build their brands, and it gives me the freedom to be wherever I need to be, whenever I need to be there. So why do I say all this, and why is it beneficial to you to share my story? Because it's really important to be able to pivot. If I was so hardcore about being a bass player in a band, I would have gone in a direction that my life probably wouldn't have gone exactly where I wanted it to. If I had been so hardcore about being a photographer, period, and not going back to designing, I would still be on the road all the time without my family. If I had been hardcore about any of these things, my life would not have been able to shift and shape. So I know not everyone's life is as crazy and shifty as mine, seasonally, but I just want to implore you to consider being able to pivot when it's necessary. That's it. That's my little advice for today. But be open to pivoting your life, still getting to do the things that you really care about, but maybe doing them in different ways for different seasons. Anyways, guys, hope you're having a wonderful day. That's my 2 cents. Have a good one.